Hi, this is Kurt with Axtreme-Guitar. In this video, I'll be working on part 2 of the National Anthem. If you missed my part 1, you can find the link to it in the top corner of your screen, or you can go into the description below where I'll have a link to the first video as well. In this video, I'll be going over the remainder of the song, picking up where I left off from the first video and giving you that big finish. So stay tuned. So, as I said in the intro, we're going to be working on part 2 of this National Anthem two-part video series. We're in standard tuning just like we were before, so if you need to tune up, take that time to do so now. So if you're all set, we're going to get a closer look at what that second half will look like. There's so many different versions of the National Anthem. I've played more than one version, so let's dive in. So for a quick recap, we had the first part. We're using that major fly scale. And so there's the intro. And now we're going to take it on the B string to the 12th fret. You could have gone and stuck with the major scale there. That was the fly. But you could also follow it into the diatonic where we're going to go 7, 8, 10. But I chose to use the 12th fret because I like to add a bend in there, and using this slightly heavier gauge of a string, which is the B string, to give it a different tone to it. You're welcome to do whatever you choose, but in this video I'm going to show you what I'm doing on the B string. So at the 12th fret here, and it may be hard to tell what fret I'm on, that's why I'm going to specifically mention what it is. I happened to like using this guitar. This is my Schecter. It has a really nice tone and feel to it, real smooth, so I wanted to use it for this video. So I'm on the 12th fret of my B string, and I'm just gonna do that following the melody. 1, 2, 3, 3 times, and then I go to the 13th fret, and then I do a full bend. Now notice that I do that full bend and hit it one more time, but I mute it before I release it because I don't want to have a... You could release it, but in my version I'm just going full bend, mute, come back down, and then I climb down from the 13 to the 10. So I'm going, so 13, 12 to 10, then back up to 12 to 13 for 2 times. So let's see what that looks like again. We're going to start on the 12, 13, bend, mute, release, and then 13, 12, 10, back to the 12 to 13, 2 times. And then we go again, 13, 12, 10, 8, 7, all on the B string. Then we're going to do our first change to a new string, that's the G string, to the 9th fret. Back to the B, 7th fret, 8th fret on the B, and we skip over to the 9th fret of the D string, and then stretch back over to that G string, which is the 3rd string coming up, onto the 6th fret to the 7th. Now you probably recognize it if you saw the first video where we do that exact same thing in the first half of the song. So you see that same thing coming back again. So now we've gotten through the ended here on that 7th fret of the G string, and I'm going to pivot to my pointer finger on that 7th fret of the G string to start this melody back up again. So I'm going 7th fret G string to 8th fret B string. And if you're following the melody line, you just hit that 3 different times at a relatively slow pace because you're following the melody. 1, 2, 3. Count down to the 7th fret on the B string, to the 9th fret G string. Now from here, to follow the melody, you could go your pinky. The reason I wouldn't use my pinky is because I'm not going to the E string. I actually am staying on the B string, so I am going to do this way. And you notice that I just pivoted. So I pivoted to my first finger on the 9th fret of the G string. So you could mute the string, mute it on the G string to make that transition to the B string 10th fret. Now you will figure out as you get to know exactly where to go what works best for you. And so I'm at the 10th fret on the B string. I'm just going to go up to the 12th fret and do a half bend. You could avoid the bend altogether and just do to the 13th fret. But I'm going to bend it because I like the sound of it. So it's back to the 10, to the 8th, and then I do another half bend here. So I like that sound too because I also release it. So when I'm talking about a release, if you're not familiar with the terms of bend and then release, I'm not taking my finger off the string. I'm not releasing any of the pressure that I put on it. I'm bending, keeping the pressure, and keeping that note going without stopping it. Now the other thing that you want to keep in mind when you're doing a bend like that, and I've said it in other videos where I'm talking about doing bends and keeping strings around this string quiet, one of the things that I'll do is I'll hold this E string with one of my fingers, and I'll also keep my palm on the upper strings, but I'll also use my thumb, the one that's holding the pick, on the G string over here to just kind of rest on it to keep it quiet. But it's also a little bit of a dance between my right hand and my left hand because you could call it quality control, really. This hand is keeping these strings quiet down here, so I only get the B string making noise. But then there's also the way that I situate my fingers up here, that I'll allow my pointer finger to overlap a little bit on this end so that even if I'm not doing anything with my right hand, I've got the G string and the E string on a mute. That's a lot of explanation there, a lot to keep in mind if you're especially newer to all of this. There's a lot of work going on in there, so that's advanced technique, but it's served me well. So, you know, I could do a lot of different things, but it's a process that I had to go through to get to that point. So there's a few different things that you can look at doing. If that's just way too much for you to be trying to digest right now, don't worry about it. You just do the best that you can with what you know now, and keep it in mind for future reference that here's one way that you can do it. I give lessons for this reason. So back to working out this song. Why don't we circle back and start it all from the beginning again. So we have on the B string, 12th fret, then we start over again on the G string, 7th fret, with the first finger to the B string, 8th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret G string, and I shift over to my pointer finger. That's what I like to do. And then I go to either my middle finger, or if I feel like it, I can mute that G string and move my pointer finger to the 10th fret of the B string. And you can either go with your ring finger or your middle. And I do that half bend at the 12th fret to the 13. So you can half fret 12, release that bend, back to the 12, to the 10, 8, and then half bend, and you let it just release back to the 7th and hold for a little while, and then we go back to 7th fret on the G string, to the 8th fret B string. Now I chose to, as I was sliding, plucked the string again before I started to slide. So to the 10th fret, to the 12th, to the 13th, and then a full bend, and then I release it, a muted release, and then I go to the 12th fret of the G string, to the 14, and then to the B string, 12th fret, 13, B string, to the 14 G, and then end on the 12th fret of the G string. So, however way you want to do it, you can even use special effects. I have a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb on this, so you might be able to hear some of that in the background. And sometimes too, depending on the venue that I might be playing, I might even use wah pedal. I don't typically use a lot of pedals for anything. It's a rarity that I use the wah, but on occasion it's really a nice added feature for certain things. So if you decide to do it, more power to you. As usual, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you soon.